Hi everyone, just got a couple of minutes chatting about a topic I get asked about all the time. And it's about rotation of positions in the foundation phase, especially. And I'm just going to give my opinion on it really. Some people have different opinions, so I'm just going to say what I think about it and my reasonings behind that as well. People will have different opinions. You can obviously comment below and share those opinions and create some debate. And that's what this forum's about. So for me, I think it's really important to rotate positions, especially in the foundation phase. And I would probably ease off the rotation positions as they get a little bit older, but still have some variety in there. Now, it's something that we do at our setup with young players. We try and get them to encourage them and to play in every position, even if they never played there before, just to give it a go. The main reasons from our point of view for that are that we want them to have different experiences on the football pitch and experience different positions, because they are all completely different and you get a different experience of playing the game. You can also get a bit of an appreciation for other players' skill set. So you'll have players that naturally are better at defending, better at attacking. So what ultimately happens is the kids that score the goals get the glory, and you want everyone to start sharing that glory and have a bit of appreciation for each other as well. But from playing different positions, you're going to get different experiences in terms of the challenges you face and the skill sets you develop. So football players now, if you want to become and reach your potential, you need to have a range of different skill sets. You have to be able to defend, you have to be able to attack, you have to be able to pass the ball, you have to have a good awareness in different positions of the pitch, and you have to be flexible. So we need to expose kids to these things when they're young, because they're like sponges, they'll pick things up really quickly. So I'm not saying that they need to play a different position every 5 minutes, but what I would say is if you've got a player that predominantly shines in midfield, make sure 20-30% of their time they're going to play up front or they're going to play at the back, and get a different go at things there. So the different skill sets, if you think they'll pick up as well, is if you're a striker, a lot of the time you're going to be receiving the ball with your back to goal, which you might not get if you're playing at the back all the time. Think about the different 1v1 situations you're going to face, think about different players you're going to face. Think about how your thought and concept of space is going to be as well, because the movement you've got into different spaces up front compared to at the back are going to be different. So you can do a lot more of moving back to come forward and vice versa, as well as just sideways movement. So just exposing youngsters to all these different things in the game will help them learn and become better players overall. Now, I suppose the biggest debate I get from coaches that we have about is, but if you let a player specialise in a position, they'll get better at that position and they might go on to play in that position when they're older. So this is probably for coaches that are trying to push players on to play at a high level. So the reason I disagree with that is because if you want to play at a high level now, you need to be very flexible. So you might develop the best right back in your league that's a great right back, nice and solid. But then if you're developing them for a grassroots club that feeds to a first team, and that first team manager doesn't play with a right back, he goes, I play with 3 centre backs, I need a wing back, and you've not allowed your right back to become someone who's got attacking freedom and good delivery in the final third, you're not really giving them the opportunity to go and play at the high level, because they're very stuck in the one thing that they can do. And if you look at positions now, players have to be fluid. If you look at all levels of football, I always use Kyle Walker as an example. So he can play as an out-and-out right back, he can now play as in a back three. He, as Pep Guardiola has players drop and sit in centre midfield, he can score goals, he can get into the box, he can be high up attacking up the pitch, getting crosses in. That's the way modern football's going, not just at professional level. When I watch teams at grassroots level, and I mean kind of non-league adult level, I see a lot of players that are flexible, can adapt positions. I see a lot of coaches now that want to try and play football, and that's the way the game's going. So if you're not giving these players different experiences and different skill sets to play different positions, you might not be doing them justice. Another example is if you play 2 up front with a 9 and 10 in an old school 4-4-2, but then when they get to a first team level, a manager says, well, I need someone who can play as a lone striker. If they've not been exposed to that or had those experiences, you're not really preparing them for that part of the game, as well as they need the skill sets to be able to defend, etc., and attack no matter where they play. So that's one of my reasons behind that. If your intention as a coach is not to push players onto the top level and you're not bothered about that, you just want people to grow a love for the game and really enjoy their football, then my argument for that would be, well, actually, what do kids like doing when they play football? They like scoring goals, they like attacking, they like that exciting stuff, most of them, that is. So that's by rotating positions, everyone gets the opportunity to score goals, everyone gets the opportunities to have an attack, everyone gets an opportunity to do everything. So that's why I'd argue against it, especially in the foundation phase, for people that say it's better for their development. Now, you will always get parents and kids kind of say, oh, I'm a striker, I'm this, I'm that. So it's always good to have some kind of little backups to talk about. I mean, I always use Gareth Bale again as an example in this. Was a left back for most of his career, started off at left back at Tottenham. At Southampton, he went to Tottenham, but still predominantly a left back, and then as his attacking prowess and physicality came in, moved forward. A few years later, he's starting up front for Real Madrid in the Champions League final. So none of us know where kids are going to end up. None of us know where they're going to excel. Players per se change positions all the time. Ashley Cole was a striker, for example. I'm showing my age a bit there, but there's probably more modern examples of players that have changed positions. And Jude Bellingham's now a great example of a player that's come through the system's got a bright future and can play multiple different positions. So we've got to expose them to this, especially when they're young. It's really important. On a more serious note, there is also research that if kids don't play different positions, they can get overuse injuries as they get older. So think about the types of physical movements they're making. So a striker will be making short, sharp, quick runs, but also gets the opportunity to open their legs up. Whereas maybe in youth football, a centre-back might not get as many opportunities to do that. So they're only developing certain physical attributes, whereas playing different positions is going to let them develop different physical attributes. They won't get the overuse of it then, and they won't get the injuries as they get older. Now, the other things to talk about with this, I suppose, are, well, when do you stop rotating positions? For me, 7s, 8s, 9s, and this is very much personal opinion, 7s, 8s, 9s rotate positions quite a lot. 7s and 8s, it should just be constant. Just let them change positions, play different places all the time. I would get to 10s, 11s, and then start to think about what their skill sets are like. And don't get me wrong, I know there's some kids, you put them up front, they're still going to end up playing at centre-back. You put them at centre-back, they're still going to play up front. Okay, they're kids, that's what they do. But as they get older, they do need to start to specialise. I'm a big fan of when they get to kind of teenage years, of an Ajax-based type model, that if you've got a player that's very much a right-sided type attacker, they could play at right back, they could play right of a midfield 3, right of a midfield 4, and right of a forward 3. So giving them exposure to those positions. I would then also consider playing them on the left a little bit, so that they learn to use their left foot a lot more, because by making them do that, they'll get better on their left foot, and as a right-sided attacker, they'll be able to cut in and use their left foot, making them more unpredictable, more dangerous. So I would start to, in their teenage years especially, really start to narrow down what their skill set's for. By the time, for me personally, they're at 16, you need to be going, right, these are your 2 or 3 main positions. This is at the moment where your strongest position is, and we're really going to develop that, because if you're looking to push them on to play at a level that is their potential, they need to really start to develop their tactical knowledge and understanding and leadership, and also understand how those systems work around them, without pigeonholing them into your opinion and saying this is what you are. So that's just my thoughts and feelings on rotation of positions. Like I said, any debate you want to have, anything you think different, agree with, disagree with, post about it, put some comments in there, and we can get some chat going amongst the coaches.